Hi, I'm Sam Bowden. I'm going to show you the exact practice model that veterinary practice owners all around the globe are using to build practices that they're really proud of. Practices that the team love working at, that clients rave about, pets receive a really high standard of care, they're really profitable, and provides the owner with great work-life balance. Now, even if right now that just feels like some long-lost dream that you once had when you first took the reins of your practice. Now, I imagine you got into practice ownership to create something that improved the lives for you, your team, your clients, and of course, their pets. But right now, it may feel more like this. Maybe you're flat out one minute, you're panicking the next about not having enough clients. Maybe you feel tied to the practice and you're just terrified that it'll all fall apart if you left for a week, much less for a month. Maybe you've got a team, but you're not sure quite how to lead them. And secretly, you think you're not doing a very good job at it. Your finances, maybe they're guesswork. Get the results once a year from the accountant. Marketing, a hope and a prayer. Well, you wouldn't be alone. And maybe you've got that icky sense of imposter syndrome just gnawing away at you. And half the time it feels like you're winging it and you're hoping that no one notices. So you bury yourself in seeing another client, hoping that's going to solve these business problems. Now, I get it. You're smart, you care, but honestly, no one's ever shown you really how to actually run a business like a real business. Does that sound about right? Is that resonating with you? Well, what I'm going to show you is the same system that has helped practices from around the globe. Australia, UK, US, Canada, New Zealand, add hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in profit. It's helped them rebuild their teams and finally create the freedom that they actually signed up for. Let me prove it to you. I'm going to share some cases. These are some practices we've worked with which all over the globe. And we work inside them with something called the Accelerate Mastermind Group, or the AMG program. And honestly, I think the results speak for themselves. So take Andrew. When he started, he felt like an imposter, and he had a team that was ignoring what he wanted, ignoring his standards. So he had poor profit, and he couldn't say he was really proud of how things were going. But after taking back control and shifting the culture, he grew his revenue by $800,000 a year and his profit by $320K per year, all while building a media profile that actually raised his reputation on the side. And there's Lauren, about to run her first practice. And she opened this practice in a highly competitive area. In her first year, she did over $1 million in revenue at a profit, even after covering all startup costs. Now that's something she's very proud of. And rightly so. Well, there's Lisa, who is ready to quit, exhausted, and she's burnt out due to her inability to find quality staff to help. After much convincing, she took a leap of faith, and by building systems and a high-performing team, she now enjoys a 4-day work week, has added $895,000 in profit per year. I'd take that. And Alex was in crushing debt, and they thought the only option was to work harder until it became untenable. Joined the mastermind program. After 3.5 years, they're financially free just by following the process. So these are different style practices, different countries, different challenges, same model, same kind of results. So it's pretty life-changing, right? In fact, they would all say so. Now, there's something that you probably need to know about me. I was like a hybrid version of Lauren, Alex, Lisa, and Andrew all put together. See, I was burdened with debt, I had been nice to my team, and they were taking advantage of me. And I was working 6 days a week in my veterinary practice. You see, I decided to take over the practice that I was working at because I wanted to do it my way. Now, the only education I'd had about how to run a practice was from my previous bosses, and to be really honest, I didn't want to end up in the same situation they ended up in. They ended up a bit bitter. So I thought I'd start my own practice so I could do it my way and I'd get to create my shiny dream. Yet within about 3 years, I was in struggle street. I was lost, tired, and I didn't know what to do about it. I was emotionally and financially broken. And at that stage, honestly, I felt like I'd screwed up everything for my soon-to-be family for the rest of my life. In fact, I remember thinking I'd happily take 60 grand a year salary for the rest of my life. If only this weight of stress, I could take this backpack of stress off. I was insomniac, and I had that constant sinking feeling in my gut that financial stress gives you. And looking back now, I realised I was actually pretty depressed. And you know, that's just not me. I tend to be naturally a pretty upbeat kind of guy. But honestly, business badly managed, you'll eventually wear anybody down. So where did I go wrong? Well, I thought that if I was a good vet, worked really hard, it'd produce results. And I was wrong. There was just so much about how to create my ideal practice that I didn't know. In fact, I didn't know where to start. And this all came to a head. It was 2:10 a.m. on a Monday morning. I'm insomniac, I'm feeling sick and dreading the week to come, and I just had enough. I had what's called a snap point, and I simply refused for my life to turn out like it was shaping up to be. And I made this steely agreement with myself and my maker that I would do whatever it took to change my situation. I enrolled myself in a course that wasn't vet specific, and I immersed myself in the study of how to create my ideal practice. And I realised I didn't need to learn how to become a better vet. I had to learn how to be a better business owner. So I became a student of marketing, of sales, of leadership, of finances, of workflow efficiencies. Over $500,000 and thousands of hours later of learning, events, coaching, mentors, testing, failing, I eventually shaped a recipe to be able to predictably create a great practice, such as what I described at the start. And that's why I created this genius model. So you, my fellow practice owners, don't have to go through the financial and emotional turmoil that I went through. So you don't have to experience the stress, the guesswork, and the frustration that I did. I was just fighting my way through the jungle. The problem is this: most practice owners, I believe, have been lied to. You've been told, I know at uni, that if you're just a good vet and you work hard, you'll have a good business, you'll do well. Well, that's wrong. But you've been told that give every client all the options and let them decide the best course of action. That's the best thing to do. Once again, bad advice. You've been told to keep pushing your prices up until 10% of your clients complain. Well, eventually you reach this tipping point, don't you? And you can just start watching your clients silently retreating to your competitors' practice, which they perceive offers a better exchange of value. You've been told the solution is to just put in more hours. How's that working for you in creating a life that you're really proud of? When none of that fixes the real problems, the advice is just hire someone else. Outsource the HR, the marketing and the finances. And this is nuts. It's almost like they're saying you can outsource your way out of chaos. And I've watched this scenario play out again and again and again. And just even saying it, honestly, it just drains the energy from me. And seriously, it's not your fault. You've just been sold bad medicine. So here's what I believe. You didn't become a veterinary practice owner to be chained to your business, drowning in stress, HR, debt, living on financial fumes for all the effort that you've put in and this constant firefighting. You became an owner to build something you're really proud of. A practice where your team, they love coming to work, you're known for it, where clients rave about the care that they get in their experience, and where you have a strong profit, and where it's not all about you, so you can actually have the freedom to enjoy other areas of your life. Now, I believe you deserve a practice that runs profitably with a great team that you can trust, without running you into the ground. And that's the mission behind everything we do at the Accelerate Mastermind Group. So, what's really going on? There are, honestly, when I really study it, there's probably 4 main reasons why vet practice owners tend to stay stuck. Number 1, they actually don't see themselves as business owners primarily. They see themselves primarily as veterinarians who own a practice. It's a completely different mindset. Number 2, they don't have the right team. So every problem lands back on their desks. They feel like they're doing the vet work and the teamwork. And number 3, because they don't have the right system, so everything feels like chaos and guesswork. And number 4, they don't have a proven way to attract, serve, and keep the ideal client. So they're stuck on this sort of feast or famine roller coaster. Now, fix any one of those and things honestly will improve dramatically. Fix all of them and you'll have the practice of your dreams, that first shiny goal you had. Let me show you what I mean by sharing some real life results from practice owners that are probably just like you. Now, I talked about Andrew. Now, he owned a large mixed animal practice, but honestly, profitability was really low. His team were running the show instead of him. And he was tolerating this behaviour that he disapproved of. Why? Because of his lack of leadership training. And honestly, he was terrified his team would just leave if he enforced his higher standards. Inside the AMG group, he rebuilt his mindset around leadership. That's where it started. And he learned how to recruit better people and then learned how to have respectful, courageous conversations. So he built this whole new culture of respect, empowerment, and high standards of pet care. Now he's got a really respectful, high-performing team who treat the practice like it's their own. And the business is consistently profitable. Andrew's even built a second career as a TV personality without the practice missing a beat. But honestly, I think most importantly, he now really appreciates his team. He loves them. And he sees himself as a confident leader. And that's a game changer because that's a permanent shift. So he's going to reap that benefit of that for as long as he's a practice owner. And then there's Lisa. When she came to us, she was exhausted. Like, she couldn't find another vet. And the whole business revolved around her. And she was just literally sprinting from case to case to case, day in, day out to keep up. Now, although financially, she was actually doing really well. She's making good money. She was seriously entertaining thoughts about quitting altogether. And I remember after much encouragement from myself, she actually took a leap of faith and joined the AMG. Now, to say that she was skeptical, honestly, complete understatement. Oh man, I had to work to get her in there. But she just quietly got to work, putting in place the right systems for efficiency, marketing, finance, and really importantly, her team. In fact, within a month of joining, she'd found not one, but 2 more vets to join her growing business. So now the systems tend to do the heavy lifting, and she works just 4 days a week and is making almost $900,000 a year more in profit. In fact, I thought I'd share with you her exact words that she said a few months ago. She said, "I'll admit I was skeptic when I first considered joining AMG, but their processes work. The results have been incredible. In fact, in just 25 months, revenue has increased by 1.56 million and profit increased by 895,000. Trust me, the processes work. Don't wait 25 years like I did. It's been a game changer for me and it will be for you." And then of course there's Lauren. She's brand new to ownership, about to open her first ever baby practice, and she was terrified about making mistakes. So she just wanted to just do it right from the get-go. So together what we did is we built her client journey before the doors even opened and trained her team before it even opened in delivering a really remarkable client experience from day one. So the result was the word of mouth, it just spread like wildfire. And in her first year, in the middle of a really competitive market, she grew from nothing to over $1 million in revenue and at a profit, which most accountants honestly would say that's highly unlikely to happen. So 3 very different vets, 3 very different challenges, but the same genius model of practice. And that's what creates remarkable practices anywhere in the world, this genius model. So let me explain to you how it works. At the heart of this model is your mindset. Now, as the saying goes, fish stinks from the head down. So too does that apply to business. As the leader of businesses, we are continually creating our results by what we think, feel, and do. Now, what drives that? Your mindset. So I've found that if I don't have the right mindset, no tactic will stick. Mindset's like a multiplier. So you get to understand yourself and humanity at a really, really deep level through this process. So from there, the model then has 3 core pillars. The first one, pillar 1, is an empowered team. How do you find, align, and grow your ideal team? So they treat your practice like it's theirs. And this is about smart recruitment, values alignment, leadership development, and how do you actually create an empowering environment so your team just do their best work in driving the systems within your practice. You simply cannot build a successful practice that consistently performs well, whether you're there or not, without an empowered team. You know, they give you leverage, they give you a life, let's be honest. Pillar 2, the best systems. So good systems are what allow you to provide a consistently high level of pet care and client experience, regardless of who's working on that day. Now sure, you need a good team, but they're only as good as the systems that they are using within the practice to deliver these outcomes. So we help you develop the best systems for marketing, for finance, for workflow, for client experience. So you can deliver that consistently high level of pet care and client experience with clarity, instead of just winging it and hoping everyone knows what they're doing. And this is about setting up the right financial metrics, marketing engine, and operational efficiencies. Pillar 3 is ideal clients. How do you find, serve, and keep your ideal clients so you become the go-to practice in your area? So this part of the program is about your client journey design, retention strategies, referral generation. So put these together and you get a practice that's profitable, respected, and doesn't revolve around you. You also, as a practice, become somewhat untouchable. Now, this isn't just theory, it's happening right now. I've talked about them. Andrew, $800,000 up in revenue per year, $320,000 increase in profit, plus a media profile. Lisa, 4 days a week, up $895,000 a year, more profit. Lauren, brand new, doing over $1 million in her first year. Kathleen and Ivor doubled their turnover in 16 months, developed their team and gave them more freedom. And these are just a few personal stories of practice owners like you who took a leap of faith and put their hand up and said, hey, I'm interested in some help. So different stages, different challenges, but the same model delivered through the AMG, the Accelerate Mastermind Group. Now, honestly, I just want to tell you, out of the 257 practices we've worked intimately with, 94% of them have gotten results they're ecstatic about. The other 6%, unfortunately, despite our encouragement, our support, our structure, our accountability, they have chosen not to implement anything. So of course, they're not going to get a result. Go figure. So, where to from here, if any, for you? You can either keep wrestling and spend years trying to figure it out yourself, or do a little research and investigate what help could look like. So I've made it really simple for you without any fear of unwanted pressure or commitment. First of all, here's what you do. Download the prospectus that's on the page here for the Accelerate Mastermind Group. And it'll go through and show you exactly how it works, what's included, what's involved, and it'll give you everything you need to know to decide if it's right for you, if you're resonating with it. Then you book a call, and that call will be with me. Now on that call, we're going to go through your practice together and identify what's possible for you right now, what's broken or what's holding you back, and we'll create a first step action plan. So you can leave that call clear, confident, and excited about how to start building your own remarkable practice. Now, if you want help to build it, then we can discuss that. Honestly, even if you don't join, you're still going to walk away knowing exactly where your biggest opportunity is, whether that be a headache to remove or an opportunity to grab. Now, because of the various hats that I wear within the business and my simple refusal to let anyone else manage these calls, I only have a small number of slots available each week. And we only onboard 5 new practices per month into the AMG. The reason I'm not handing this over to a salesperson is simple. As a fellow practice owner, I know what it's like running a practice, and I personally want to be the one to help unpack your practice, to help you see the big opportunities that may be sitting there, that I'm probably going to see that honestly most people would miss. So that means if you're interested in getting help, I can say with confidence if you are a fit, if it's going to work for you. And remember, we work with practices all around the world, irrespective of your style of practice or where you are. Different markets, same challenges, same results. So click on the link down on there, download the prospectus, and let's talk about your practice. Let's talk about your shiny dream. I can't wait to have a chat about your practice and see what's possible for you.